Hello everyone, very good afternoon to all of you. Today we are going to look out for a new concept, the new topic that is coding. Everyone knows what coding is exactly? Let me tell you about it. Coding is so much necessary for today's generation. Coding is a way to communicate with the computer. How as a normal human being we try to communicate with each other. It can be any language. It can be English, Hindi, Marathi, but the same way we can't communicate with the computer. To communicate with the computer, we have to understand the coding language. And I'm going to briefly discuss about it with the help of code.org. That is the main platform where all our activities are going to be conducted. For example, when I talk about coding, coding can be done in different ways. There you can create your own games, activities, you can create different kind of applications, you're going to create game from scratch. How are we going to go step by step? We are going to take the very first step about game. What are the basic rules to create any kind of game? What are the main concepts that are we going to cover in the coding? Basically, when it comes from coding background, in coding, we are going to take the first topic as from class 1 to 8. We are going to focus on game development. Basically, when I talk about communicating with the computer, how can it be that simple to communicate with the computer even without the languages what we talk on a daily basis? As a human being, we can understand normal language. Computer doesn't understand. And for that, we are going to learn coding with the help of block command. Usually as a kid, you would have definitely learned how to play with the Lego blocks. It is very much similar to that. When you want to communicate with the computer, how you are going to use the block command. Let me show you one example and then we can go through this. So here we are on code.org and here I am going to quickly start with the new ideas, the new project. As you can see, these are the different platforms on which we are going to work. This is called Sprite Lab, this is called Artist Lab, this is App Lab. So here, let's make one project that will be easy for us. Okay. So as you can see this create button, everyone at the starting point, when you come for code.org website, you need to first sign in. As I have signed in, now this, when we click on the create, we have different platforms here. Let me show you all the platform on which we are going to work. Okay, so here as you can see, we already have some projects ready that I am definitely going to share with you all. But before that, let's have a look at the platform on which we are going to work. Now here we have Sprite Lab, we have Dance Party, Poetry, then we have Game Lab, App Lab. These are the separate platforms on which all different kind of activities are going to be conducted. Now let me show you one of them which is already been created. It is very vast and we are going to learn much more in detail. Let me show you one of the activities so you get a better idea. So here I already have one code ready and I am going to show you how to work on it. So the topic is Thirsty Crow Story. How to start with the coding? How to start with the coding? Let's understand this. Now as you can see this platform, here what we can see, this is called the play area, where usually as a kid you would be playing with the Lego block. Here on the platform we are going to have this area as a play area where we are going to get the output. And this workspace is just like your notebook where you are going to start writing the code. And these are called blocks. As I was talking about block command. How do we use block command? So let's have a look at it. These blocks are going to help us to do coding. Now for example, here we all know the story about Thirsty Crow. That how the crow is going to show us that It wants to drink the water from the pot, and it is not able to do that. How am I going to show that in a way of animation? Let's have a look at it. The very important thing is we have something called when run. Now when I talk about when run, it is very much kind of event block that we are going to use. Now when I talk about event means some kind of action is going to happen. That's what we are going to do, see it in this activity, because when we do coding, we require when run. If we don't have when run, the code is not going to work. Let's have a look at it. Now, here the first thing what I have taken, set water level to 200. Now before that, before starting the coding, let's understand what kind of costumes we have taken in the activity. Let's go to costume. Now here we can see the costumes have been made already and some of them are already uploaded. Let's have a look at one by one what sprites we are going to take. Let's understand in a more detail. See, you can see the pot that has been created by us, which has already been created on this platform. We are going to learn this in much more detail. Now here you can see this images have been created, the water has been created, you can see the stone, you can see the crow, you can see there are different positions of the crow. Now let's have a look at the code. Code is a place where we will start coding. The first thing is some coding is already being preloaded in the platform, so we don't have to do everything from scratch. As a student, you are definitely going to get some things already and then you have to start with the other coding. So basically my animation is going to show me that how crow is going to, throw the stone inside the pot, and then the water level is going to come up and it is going to drink the water. Now let's see. Already they have given set water level to 200. Now these are the values what we need to give when we want exactly how the picture needs to look. Here we can see the water level that is not up to mark for the crow to have the water. Now the setup is already being preloaded. So we are going to say sprite begin stone 1 being draggable. Now here we are going to drag those stones and we are going to put it in the pot. This thing is already being created. You can see sprite begin being draggable, sprite begin being draggable. Now these are the behaviors what we are going to give to our sprite. You can see we already have 3 stones. They are the sprite. We have to give them the behavior, how they are going to move without even giving any command. So for that, we are already saying that when I am going to drag the stone should go inside the pot. So here first, the sprite begin shows being draggable. These are the behaviors what already has been created for the stones. So you can move the stone. Now, next thing is set stone count to 0. Right now, we are focusing on creating an animation, but for that we have to first create a variable. Now what is variable? Variable is a very necessary element when we start coding, when you start creating any kind of animation, any kind of game, any kind of app lab activity, any kind of applications. Now let's have a look at it. So variable is like a container which stores value for your future reference. Like for example, I can say I have a purse. In that I put the money. So purse is a container for me, and money what I put inside the purse, that is the value. So the same way I am saying that right now my stone count, let's make it as 0 because we have not yet put anything inside the pot. Now what happens when crow is clicked? Once the crow is clicked, I want that crow to swim from left to right to find that stones. So we are going to show animation where when crow clicked, let sprite stop the crow swimming left and right. Right now the crow, you can see it is stable, but once I run, it's going to be from here to there. When we click on the crow will stop. Let's have a look at it. If I run, you can see that how the crow was trying to move from left to right, but to stop the crow, I have to give the behavior swimming left and right. How am I going to do that? Let's have a look at it. We will go to behavior option, but before that, when I say event block, when crow is clicked, where am I going to get the event block? Let's go to event. Now these are the event block through which we are going to do animation. We are going to give action to our sprite. So let's look at that. When the sprite is clicked, I will try to drag this and I am going to change the sprite. I have a crow already on the platform, and here I will say when crow is clicked, let's give a behavior to that crow. So I am saying let's go to behavior. I will say sprite stops. Once I take sprite stop, I am going to stop the crow and I have to give the behavior. So let's go to behavior, and from behavior I am going to say, let's try to drag this from behavior. Just give me 1 minute. You have to drag this, or you can try to drag this gray line here, and we have something called swimming left and right. We already have this behavior created, so we can try to drag that and we are going to place it here. So it will try to stop the crow at the same moment as soon as I click on the crow. Now, another thing, after doing that, I want that crow to jump to certain location. Now when I talk about location, we look here for X and Y coordinate, where we want exactly our sprite to be. So here I am going to say this, I am going to remove it, we don't require this. Okay. So here crow jump to particular location X and Y. Now when I talk about location, we will go to location and we are going to take this block where we will be giving X and Y coordinates. So we will try to drag that and we are going to place it here. Once we give the location to that crow, how are we going to see that? We'll be looking out for the output at the end. Let's see. I want to change the crow costume to this. So right now you can see the costume, originally you can see the position is this way, but when I try to make the crow jump, I want the costume to be changed like this. Okay. Now, when stone 1 touches pot mouth, what will happen? We will remove stone 1. We need to disappear the stone 1. Same way, we are going to increase the water level to 150. So as we put the stones, the water level is going to rise. Now the same way, I am going to set the water size to water level. Now these are different variables what we are going to already being created, and we are going to use it in coding. Same way, set stone count to stone count plus 1. Now when we created that variable on the top, set stone count to 0. Now here I am giving the value to that stone. That set stone count to stone count plus 1. So every time I add the stone in that pot mouth, the stone value is going to increase. So here we can see, because of this, the stone value is going to increase by 1. I will show the title screen, title as stone count, subtitle. Now here in subtitle we won't write anything. I just want the stone count to be shown on the platform, and that it's going to work out once we try to click on run. I'm going to show you the output at the end. Let's see for some more coding. The same way I'm going to do for stone 3, I'm going to do for stone 2, and the coding is same for all the stones. So once we do that, here we complete the whole coding, and now let's have a look at the output. That as soon as I put all the stones inside the pot, you would have seen the stone count increased from 0 till 3. All the stones went inside the pot and you can see the water level rised. So here this was the coding, how we saw, how we used the block command, how we did the coding in such a beautiful way. It was all about different block commands, and whatever activity we are going to do with the help of code.org. Now this was just one animation activity what I showed. In ahead classes we are going to more discuss about code.org in a different way, where we are going to see app lab, we are going to see game lab, and of course many other, we are going to see space technology as well. But all the activities will be conducted in code.org in a much more detailed way. So this was just one example. Thank you.